Everybody. Today we're going to talk about how astrology is bullshit. Now, a lot of people do not believe in astrology, and this is going to be kind of a video of like why I utilize it and how I think about it. Now, I think there's undeniable patterns within the universe, like such as above, so below. Law of attraction, duality, manifestation, certain things that happen everywhere you go, right? Now, the main topic of this video is I want you to realize that just because I'm pointing somewhere in the sky and you see that point to be a little different, doesn't mean we're not pointing at the same thing, right? So I'm using astrology as a tool for that. It's not meant to be. It's meant to be like if you resonate with it and you take that in and you can accept that within yourself, then you can use that to better yourself. Now, some negatives with astrology is like you are being told who you are by others. You're being told what energies you have, and you can't do this or you can't do that. Now that creates a lot of negativity, like, oh, I have no air in my chart, so it's really hard for me to communicate, right? Now, that's not necessarily true. You can communicate in other ways because most people can talk, right? Most people can communicate. Even if you don't speak the same language, you can communicate with like hands and stuff like that. So we're talking about the same things, but there's just like a different lens over it, right? But that's what I'm trying to get you to realize. Now I think of astrology as like the same way that like if you look in the sky and you see, oh, well, there's this direction, there's this point over here, and those directions make you feel a certain way, right? You feel down, right? You feel up. You feel uplifted, right? These directions are what matters. Now, astrology is trying to define those directions that you are in. So why I call it bullshit is because you can use that, directional locations, you can use those in different ways, whether it be religion, you can use it within, even just going within, just be like, oh, I kind of feel weird looking in this direction, or I feel weird, different in this direction, right? Such as like sleeping in a certain direction, that could be utilized. It could even go into, besides religion, it could be like storytelling, like mythologies. It could go into pretty much everything. You can find those patterns in everywhere, but now you always end up relating it back to yourself. So when you resonate more with this YouTuber more than that one, or I like this aspect about this person, maybe that's something that I want to fulfill myself within, These are the type of things that I'm talking about. You can find this information about yourself in other ways, but I like to think of astrology as a tool. It just the same way you would think of an educational video as a tool. It's the same thing. You're still trying to take some information so that you can learn, and then you learn within yourself about how you react to certain things, and then you can be better, in whatever way you want to be. Now, another negative part of astrology is people having too much self-pity, like, oh, I'm just a Leo. It's just how I am. I just come off rough. Or, I'm just a Scorpio. I just like keeping things secret. Stuff like that. It's just like there's a lot of negative stigma on astrology. And, I hate that because that's not how you should look at it. These are just points that you can look at so that you can maybe resonate with, so that you can maybe grow. And that's it. That's how it should be. It's a tool, It's not something that you should pray to, like the Bible, It's not something you should worship, right? It's something you can use. You are the thing that's the mediator between other, entities, other ideas. You determine if that idea means something to you or not. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Now, there's some positives to astrology, such as like it's already been well defined. So for me to create my own version of astrology would take a lot of energy. It'd take a lot of power. It'd take a lot of people. to then create my own version of that, right? Just the same way, like you couldn't just create Christianity again in this day and age. It just couldn't happen. But you can do it if you have the resources, right? Now, this is why I use astrology, because that's the closest thing that I found to be more true, right? Because it's all about self and then about others. Now, there's certain truths with astrology, such as like how the planets are like exalting here, they're falling here, that they're at home here. This is the truth. The truth is that if you have like a planet in this area, then if let's say it's at home, then you feel good there, right? You feel content there, maybe. But if there's some other aspects going on, you might have to go outside of yourself, outside of the home to then explore, to then grow. But then you might have to go back home, right? Or if it's exalted there, you might feel like you're always doing. It's like going to Disneyland, right? Instead of being at your house. Now that's something that you have to utilize, right? And it's just, there's more energy there, right? You feel like you want to ride all the rides, right? You feel like you have to do it all before you have to go back home. So, but you might get burned out, right? So these are certain truths, like the planets. Then another truth would be the modalities, whether it be a fixed nature, a mutable nature, or a cardinal nature, right? The initiator, the kind of go with the flow, mutable, or the fixated on an idea or something of such, or something like that, right? This is another truth. Now the signs, they could be called anything else. If some dude messed with the creation of astrology, he could have made Aries be, instead of ram, it could have been, I don't know, like it could have been the fish, right? Because it could have been like a hornfish. If it wanted to be, if he would have messed with that, intention of what they wanted that area to be like, it could have changed. But it didn't, and why it didn't do that is because they felt a certain way in that area, right? And so they're just trying to represent that sign in the closest way they can, using the words that they know and the knowledge that they have. That's just how it is. So, I just, you just have to watch it. You just have to watch it. If you're going to follow astrology, don't be using excuses for the way you are. Be better, right? Do not listen to other people and then take that 100%, right? Actually take what you want, leave what you don't, right? And then also be logical in certain areas, like not just following blindly. Like, that's what I mean by logical. It's not wise to take candy from a stranger, right? But you might, right? But just kind of being wise within yourself. That's what I mean by being logical. Now, I know it's seen as a cult, and it's also why my videos probably will never be that big, right? Because I'm using this form of like mysticism, right? Of something that's taboo, something that's looked down upon, right? I'm using this form to then try to get the truth out of it, right? But that's why I'm not going to just focus on astrology. I'm going to focus on other religions, numerology, stuff like that. But I'm just trying to get you to understand that there's certain truths, and you can utilize all these tools that you have to gain those truths, right? Well, hope you guys understood. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you in the next one.